The Montgomery County Arts and Humanities Council is charged with maintaining the county's public art collection. Projects range from large installations in public plazas to two-dimensional framed work, some of which is on display in county buildings. Michelle Cohen helps manage the more than 500 works of art in Montgomery County's collection. She says public art serves an important function in creating a sense of community.
It's a way of enhancing a space with something that's sort of on the surface, but the really good public art, I think, sort of gets below the surface and reveals something about the site, something about the history, connects people together and to their location.
Can you give us some examples in Montgomery County that did that?
Yeah, it's been actually a real pleasure to discover the collection. The Public Safety Memorial by Ted Clawson that just was dedicated almost a year ago, so it's really quite new. And it's at the new Public Safety Headquarters in Gaithersburg. And I was very moved by the experience of walking through this memorial, which sort of takes the form of a labyrinth. So you have a sense of how you're walking and how you're sort of turning through the space. And then gradually the message is revealed. So it's a physical as well as mental experience.
Wow, that sounds really beautiful. What else?
Vicky Scurry did a project that's connected to the Rock Creek pedestrian bridge. And that both enhances a functional bridge meant for pedestrians and bicyclists, but it also reveals a piece of history. Montgomery County is a very old agricultural community, and there had been lots of mills located along Rock Creek, for example. So what Vicky wanted to do with this bridge was investigate that history and reveal it in a more poetic way. The mill stones themselves had different sorts of patterns in order to grind the meal. So there are references to that. The railings undulate in a way that's not just a functional rail. So they suggest water or movement. So I think that she successfully thought about the location and the history and also the users today, because there are also wonderful playful shadows that form at different times of day. So as you're walking across the bridge, you're becoming part of a shadow piece.
Public art doesn't just happen. It takes vision, capital, and coordination to put these pieces in place, particularly if they are large scale. In some cases, like Spirit of Freedom in Rockville, works are acquired and installed using public money. In other cases, private developers foot the bill, as was the case with this installation at United Therapeutics in Silver Spring. Susan Jenkins, CEO of the Arts and Humanities Council of Montgomery County, oversaw an effort to develop a public arts policy to govern the procurement and installation of art countywide. The Planning Board was one of the agencies to bless that policy this winter.
We worked really, really hard with the Public Art Trust Steering Committee to develop a policy that would help to encourage public art. So say we were going to put up a bus shelter. We may think of just, a structure with 4 sides and some glass, or we might think about something more aesthetically pleasing that could help people convene around it and make the community look a lot more livable. And so we want to be a lot more thoughtful in the next pieces of public art that we put in the county so that we can really draw people, communities, businesses to those areas.
The new commercial residential zone encourages developers to add public art to their projects, which is what happened here at the Galaxy Apartments in South Silver Spring. That's where I met up with Malene Smith, a planner who is the department's liaison on the art review panel. She is optimistic that new zoning will result in more public art and began by orienting me to existing artwork around us.
We're actually standing in front of Moon Dance by Martha Jackson Jarvis, and this is one of many. There's a public use space down the street. It has activated seating areas and a very lovely chandelier that spills down onto the pavement and creates this very dynamic marbling and bluestone textured pavement material. So it's really nice, actually.
Yeah, so they really went the extra mile. It sounds very cool.
Yes, yes.
So we have this new mixed-use zone. How is that going to influence the amount of public art?
Oh, the new commercial residential zone, also known as the CR zone, has a list of opportunities for the developer to choose from in terms of public amenities. And so it gives them components that they could possibly use in their project to kind of ensue the public use space.
Do you think that will end up with more public art?
I definitely think that it will, because it seems to be the trend for development, not only in mosaics, but also in planters or in the pavement, actually putting, pavement patterns that are mosaics in the streetscape. So we're seeing a vast array of different things pop up in public art lately, and so we hope to get some more interactive pieces that keep the community engaged.
That's good to hear. The county is working with the Arts and Humanities Council and the Planning Department on this public arts policy. What's the intent of the policy?
The intent is to make it a more standard and uniform practice so that we can figure out how to do things like decommissioning art and maintenance of these facilities, who's responsible for them, and basically just set parameters.
The Arts and Humanities Council of Montgomery County played an integral role in developing this new policy.
So the policy is now being vetted to developers to help them understand the inner workings of the policy and to encourage them to partner with us to help them as they think about their project. We can offer some solutions that are not necessarily more expensive, but certainly more aesthetically pleasing that can help everyone meet their goals.
So it provides guidance.
Absolutely. Guidance, as well as we are on hand to provide ideas, because a developer knows what they do, but not necessarily may know about incorporating public art. So we have experts available to us who do know and have a long history of integrating public art into public plans, and we want to make those available so that the developer can really realize a vision that may even be more aesthetically pleasing and more exciting than even they began to think about.
So the public arts policy and the requirements of the new mixed-use zone should result in exciting and dynamic additions to the county's collection. Meanwhile, there are many existing projects worth a visit. I asked Malene Smith to mention her favorites.
Well, there are two. There's the Jim Sanborn piece, which is in the North Bethesda Market. It's a really dynamic piece that speaks to the flow of water, actually, considering the fact that Montgomery County is located between the coastal plain and the Piedmont. It actually correlates that idea with the concept for the art piece. It's really dynamic, and at nighttime it has a light that kind of lights up from the inside out, and so in the evening time the words kind of spill out onto the pavement and create a really dynamic a focal point in the whole plaza.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
What's the other one?
The other one is Heidi Littman. She's actually around the corner, and it's a mural, and it has an array of colors and textures in the glass piece. It's actually 20 feet long, and it basically speaks about color and texture. There's a bunch of spirals in it that kind of translate onto the pavement when the sun hits it just the right way, and it's beautiful, actually.
The approved policy is available online and will be used to encourage developers to consider public art options in their projects. As always, you can learn more on our website.